Hey tubes, Jonathan was wrong here, tooth in the budget. So, just wanted to, I did something a while ago, and I never made a video about it, and I just thought it was interesting, so I thought I might as well cover it now. What you see here is a bunch of numbers, and that probably jumped out at you real quick, but, basically I was noticing the importance of certain numbers and patterns and percentages and whatnot, and just realizing now my light isn't great. I'm creating a shadow, which is kind of irritating me. But anyway, so here are your basic, groups. Generally people say, half, a quarter, an eighth. When you're breaking something down. Then there's, of course, the third, 2/3. Noticing the patterns here. And this little graph I made here of what, 1/8 is actually 12.5%, quarter, 12, third, 33.3, 50 in the middle, 66.6, 75, 87.5. But what I find interesting, other than just the general spread and the patterning, which is all very, very interesting. But so we get 1/3, which we know equals 33.3 with an infinite 3. That means that 3 goes on forever. Plus 2/3, which is 66.6, and that 6 goes on forever. We know that these are important numbers. I think 33 might come from a third of the host of heaven left with Satan, so that'd be 33. But anyway, this is when things get a little interesting. This is the super one, which I'm very, very, very fond of. One equals 1/1. I love that. I'm a huge fan of the super one. I don't know why. 1/1, especially 1 equals 1/1, really does it for me. I have no idea why. But here's where things get a little weird. So, 1/3 plus 2/3 equals 3/3, which is, 1. But if we add, 33.3 infinite 3 plus 66.6 infinite 6, technically, we get 100%, but we're adding a 0.01. By the way, that line there means that zero, there's infinite zeros. This is where things start to break down. So, in order to get 100% out of 33 point infinite 3s plus 66 point infinite 6s, you need to add point infinite 0, 1. Isn't that strange? So this number right here, doesn't, like, this little tiny little fraction here, which is literally the smallest a number can be. This is the smallest number, because that's infinite zeros. Point infinite 0, 1%. That's the smallest amount a number could be. But you need it to get that 100% when you're using percentages. I don't know. Maybe this is just interesting to me, and might sound like nonsense to anyone else. But then there's this quick thing. So we got the immeasurables. Are 3 dimensions that got wet, I think. Well, yeah. But yeah. So we have time, space, and matter. These things can be measured. That's why I said measurables. These things are measurable. You can measure how much time passes. You can measure how much something weighs, and you can measure how much how much space something takes up. Outside of this is God. God cannot be measured. He exists outside of these three dimensions that we exist within. Just just something interesting. One little thing, but yeah, this is where we exist, which is within things that can be measured. God exists outside of that, so he's not limited by time, matter, and space. Basically, I'm just trying to explain things logically in the modern logic, if that makes any sense. This is one of those things where, like, I wasn't sure if I should try to bother to make a video about this, because it's probably not going to make sense. You know, none of this graph is not going to make sense to anybody. But it's just interesting to me how we have the finite, and then we have, if anything gets broken into thirds, which is a term we use all the time. We get these infinite numbers, and it's just crazy to think that 1/3 plus 2/3 is 1, but 33.3 plus 66.6 is actually 99.9, but 1/3 plus 2/3 is 100. So hi, hello, this little guy. But this is just something to think about when people talk about how finite math is. It's like, oh, well, we could do this with math. Well, it's just manipulating numbers. It doesn't mean anything. You can take numbers and you could basically use numerical alchemy to add stuff, subtract stuff, do things to the numbers. But it doesn't really mean anything. It's not it's not like, this numbers aren't it. Just because you can prove something mathematically is kind of meaningless, because we're just attributing measurements to stuff. If you understand what I'm saying there. Like, time isn't a thing. It's like we have measurable stuff, which is, like I said, things that exist within our reality, which within this world, within the earth. Then there's stuff that exists outside of that are not held or have to pay heed, pay attention, be part of time, space, and matter, because they're outside of it. The heavenly realms, the gray place, purgatory, heaven, hell, whatever. Any place that exists outside of our earth is not held by these three measurements. They have different measurements. It's different. And, most likely outside our grasp. But anyway, I just thought that was interesting. If you break things into thirds, you get the numbers that they like so much. Thought the distribution chart here is kind of interesting to me. That's 7/8 there too. That's kind of a typo. Just in case anyone wants to take notes. Probably not. But anyway, yeah, I thought I'd go ahead and get this up there because I think it's interesting. That's about it. What's up with this infinite point infinite 0, 1. Smallest a number can be, but you need it. Without it, you don't get that 100%, but it's completely illusionary. And that's it. Super 1. Love you guys. Have a beautiful day and God bless you.